Welcome into the Beat Sessions, your place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about this self-titled project from Sharon Van Etten and the Attachment Theory. They released that on February 7th. This is the 7th studio album for Sharon and her follow-up to 2022's We've Been Going About This All Wrong. And this is the first record in her catalog that's being billed as a collaborative effort, and I love this move. I love the energy of this project, and I'm really excited to talk about this. Some of my favorite artists throughout the years have made this move, and I think that when you're trying to mix things up, when you're trying to find a way to steer your sound in a different direction, there's nothing better than this option. I think of Neil Young with Crazy Horse. I think of Bob Dylan with The Band. Think of Susie Sue with the Banshees. I mean, the list just goes on. Recently, I think of Jason Isbell, the 400 Unit, talking about Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds recently. I would love to hear in the comments section your guys' favorite backing bands. Who is out there backing up your favorite artist, giving them new impetus, new fire, new direction? Because that's really what's going on with this project. Sharon Van Etten is a fascinating singer-songwriter, one of the best that I think is out there right now. But her style is so personal and so introverted. There's a story out there. She talks about getting into her music career after leaving a bad relationship, a relationship where she had a musician boyfriend that judged her, that ridiculed her, that belittled her, which, you know, what the hell does that guy know? Obviously, in hindsight, he was very wrong. But what I love about this project and the idea of having a backing band in general is that Sharon is going about the songwriting process in a different way with this outfit, with this project. She talks about the songwriting process being a means of escape. Something goes down in life, and the best way to cope with it is to go into a room, lock the door, hit record, and just get it all out. And I feel like with the Attachment Theory and in collaborating with all of these artists in the studio, there's an element that just releases more freedom. There's still the darkness. There's still the perspective on the world that she has, which I've always loved. I really love the way that she talks about the disconnect in the modern world between people, the lack of communication and the poison that computers and telephones, any type of screen can be. And it's certainly a fascinating study, and I love that she is one to go there amongst many other artists. I think that just the lack of communication in the world is an unfortunate thing, and it's something that I'm glad she focuses on. But the sound, the energy of this record, it's so funky, it's so groovy. It's easily the most upbeat, groovy record that she's ever put together. And there's some familiar players here, and I feel like there's some new individuals coming to the table here as well. Deborah Hoff, I've got to give her a shout out. She is incredible on bass on this record, just an absolute monster, someone that Sharon has worked with before. But then you have Teeny Lieberson on the synths, just doing incredible work there. Jorge Balbi working on the drums. All of these songs were co-written with these individuals that I just mentioned, along with Charles Damsky. Charles is someone that's also doing some synth work on this record. And another person that I want to point out is Alex Reeve, featured on guitar on all tracks. He's a monster. Everybody is just bringing their A game to this project. But it's that dynamic. And again, I think most of these people have worked with Sharon in some capacity, whether it's with her and her solo work or some other project. But here, she's not the band leader. She's not the one bringing in the players and bringing in the direction. It's a moment where she's able to step back and just let things evolve organically. And I think she's done a magnificent job. I hope it's something that more people continue to talk about, the way that she was able to kind of just cede that role as leader and back off and make this more of a group and collaborative effort. One of the things I love about this record as well is the focus on her voice, the production that is there. Because when I listen to We've Been Going About This All Wrong, it's a magnificent record, but I feel that the elegance of her voice is lost in the mix on so many of those songs versus this new record with the attachment theory. You get so much of that raspy elegance, that signature sound that she brings to the table with her voice, but also that ability that she has to just soar and take her voice to a level that many artists cannot. And in that regard, she reminds me of a combination of Susie Sue and Joni Mitchell. I think that there's a great post-punk indie rock and roll drive to her sound, but there's so much, especially in her early work, that is driven by Americana. It's driven by that folk idea. And not even just the music, the storytelling as well, what she brings to the table lyrically with that regard too. So I cannot describe or even really put into words like the excitement that I have for this. The final thing I want to make about it, statement I want to make, is that you have the ability to go back and forth. And I think that that's what's ultimately so cool about making this jump, is that in the future, when Sharon makes music, she can take that route. She can choose to, lock the door and go into her room and write a more personal record. Or if she wants to continue to team up with these individuals or to team up with other musicians to create anything. I mean, the fact of the matter is that this album proves that she has the ability to step out of her comfort zone, to step out of that personal isolated place, which has so much value. I mean, and again, that's why I bring up this point, is because I definitely want to see her return to that on records and make that a point to write in that style. But this new project opens her up, and I just think gives her so much more artistic freedom to pursue music that is a little more energetic and upbeat and incorporates so many different sounds too. Again, like I just feel like Marta Salogni working with production, she worked with Depeche Mode on Memento Mori, and the Depeche Mode sound, the synths that are here, it's a big factor. It's one of the things that I love about this record. Just that ability to mix up the sound and to do something fun and different from time to time. I think it's great for the artist and it's great for their fan base, and certainly mixing in all of these tracks into a live set. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited to go check her out. It's one of the things real quick that she mentioned. She talked about touring and performing on the tour for We've Been Going About This All Wrong, and how just she fed so much off of that live energy being on stage with all those bandmates. And it's just great to see her pull all these people together and to be still the leader in this project, to still be the musical Sherpa, so to speak, for all these people going into the studio and creating this phenomenal record. It kicks off with Live Forever, dark pulsating synths that are going to open this thing up. You get brighter synths that build in to create this wonderful contrasting mood. And it's one of the great things about her music, the dissonance there created with her vocal element versus some of the darker stuff that she's doing with the music. But I love just the simple sliding bass and the haunting vocal on this track. Drums are gonna kick in right in about 2:15 at that mark. Big vocals from Sharon to close this thing out too. It's gonna take a bass driven turn in the coda with psychedelic sci-fi synths and just a gnarly way to lead this thing off. And talking about her writing style lyrically, what she does, still a lot of familiarity there. This album opens up with "Who Wants to Live Forever." Who wants to live forever? She repeats this as like a mantra, as like this motivation to go out there and live. It's not meant to be negative or dark. I think it's meant to light a fire under asses and to create a spark for people, and just a marvelous way to open this thing up. Some things you should take to heart: generations. How much do you take to start? Regeneration. Who wants to live forever? Really cool opening track, keeping it simple with the lyrics, but making a very strong point. Afterlife is your second song. Soft electro drum beat, twinkly piano, like synths that are going to build in on this track. I love the rapidity too. I love the way that they start building faster and faster and faster. It's a really cool musical element. Big monastic style vocal from Sharon on this track. I love when she goes big with her voice. And again, with the production on this record, I think that you're getting so much more of the focus on that instrument versus the last project. We've been going about this all wrong. Bright bold drums, really dope bass riff coming in there from Devra, and I really just I love the way that this song builds. It continues to swell. There's different textures that work in. It really is a fun number. Idiot Box is your third track. Edgy, slightly sinister build with the bass behind this electro, just upbeat drum element. Build in on the guitar that honestly, it sounds like Adam Clayton's bass riff on the song 40, the song that closes out the U2 album War. There's definitely some similarities, I feel like, but I love it, and I think it's working. Playful synths in this song. I love the wind-driven build to the coda that soars brilliantly. And this is another song I want to read some lyrics because I really like everyone on the Idiot Box. Come on outside, let me hear those thoughts. Call me out with the blue light eyes, nervous, tired, desensitized. Let it go, let it go. All that skin against the glass. I love that line. All these things we think we lack. All this time we can't get back. All of us on the Idiot Box. I'm guilty of it too. Spend too much time on these damn things, in front of these damn things. As much as I love this process and I love being in front of the camera, interacting and engaging with all of you, there's definitely got to be an awareness of knowing when these platforms and the time that you spend in them is constructive or it's toxic. I feel that the overwhelming majority of my time spent in front of this camera on this microphone is positive, but it's also the reason that, I choose not to interact on Facebook. I rarely get on my Instagram. So if you guys have messaged me on that, I'm sorry for not responding. It's nothing personal. I don't get on it. It's not an interesting space to me. I don't find it to be engaging. And, true to form with Sharon, I love her assessments of modern society, and particularly with regards to this issue. I think it's a cool track. Kind of reminds me of Church's Screen Violence, what they were trying to do with that as well. But a great track at number 3 there. Number 4 is Trouble. Got this like proggy bass that's a bit funky. Again, just Devra doing just solid work. Ushers in soft drums and a restrained feel on that production as well. Light arpeggiated guitar is going to carry through the track, and just these light drone-like synths that are going to build airy textures as the song progresses. Indio, your 5th song, is really going to like kick up the energy big time. I love the shift that the album takes at this point. Dueling guitars that are featured here, driving rhythm behind that. And then Sharon's got this light vocal that creates an interesting contrast. There's definitely this unique dissonance that's at play on this track, working with the guitars, the tone, the twanginess. There's kind of a steeliness to them as well. Really unique tone in those guitars. They got like kind of like a twinkly element to them as well. But this is a track that it mixes garage rock, and listening to Sharon's vocal too, I feel like there's just a big bossa nova feel, that just kind of like classic pop feel driving her vocal element. And a fun song as well too. I feel like this is calling out a specific Indio and a certain event that takes place there that I've never been to and that I never will go to, because I'm just not a fan of music festivals, and I think that one has become kind of trash, unfortunately. To walk away into distance and trust the arms, catch the fall, returning centered with a call, try to embody us all. Indio. They won't let you they won't see you for a lesser situation when you're insecure. They let you move your way. Your mess can stay, because that's your way. You're ingenue. And knowing they wait for you, you let them stand by your side to hear the words of what's been done. You skipped the ominous route. The test is you must try. Indio. I Can't Imagine is your sixth song, probably my favorite on the record. I love the disco punk flair coming from the bass, the driving percussion, especially with the notes on the hi-hat there, just grinding guitars, pulsating synths that are driving the song, and it's continually exploring different rhythmic patterns. I love that about this track. Bass is going to get really nasty in the coda. Big highlight for me. It leads into your seventh track, Something Ain't Right. And I love the organ-like, just undulating synth that opens up this track, soft driving rhythm. Sharon delivers this restrained vocal, and I enjoy when she takes her voice to that side of things. You know, it's excellent when she goes big and she creates that soaring vocal element, but there's moments like this where she's just as strong, and I love what she's doing with her voice here. I love the post-punk guitars, bit of talking heads that I'm feeling on this track. And I love the way that she finishes this song lyrically, giving a little homage to Once in a Lifetime. I want to just read the end of this track. She says, something ain't right, something ain't right. He said it's the same as it ever was. It's the same as it ever was. I think that's a really cool homage there. Southern Life, What It Must Be Like is your eighth track. Big drums, rolling bass, and crunchy synths on this track. The vocal has this unique kind of like monotone rhythmic quality to it that makes it stand out. I think Sharon's vocal is super fun on this track. And I love the way that this song rounds out a run of songs that are really high energy, leading into your last two, which take a different turn. I feel like the final two tracks on this record have more atmosphere. They explore more space in the sound, starting with Fading Beauty, your penultimate track. It's got this sci-fi pulsating synths backed by ominous soft drones. Vocal is in focus here on this track. I really love that aspect of the track. Minimal composition highlights that. You get this icy piano that works in brilliantly, just very sparse. It's just showing up at the right moments, helping to build the tension in this track. But it builds beautifully. It sounds like there's a rainstorm that builds into the background at one point in the track. I really love the oceanic feel that this song adopts because of that. And I love the way that this thing just builds from start to finish, leading into I Want You Here. Your final track has got simple tom action. It fades in. So opening up with some drums, light synths that build in as well behind that element, and another track that remains minimal, really allows the focus to be on Sharon's vocal. The focus is going to shift a little towards the development of the drum element. I like the way that continues to build throughout the rest of the track, and then big synths in the coda to finish this thing off. This is a marvelous project, and I'm really excited for Sharon in the future with this opportunity. I think that she excels in taking her music to a personal place, and anytime she wants to create a project by locking herself in that room and pressing record and going about the songwriting process in that way, I'm all for it. But I also think that teaming up with all these other players, people that she's had experience with, but seeding that role, kind of acknowledging that you're still the leader, but letting people just have more of a say and more of a role as far as the songwriting process and how things unfold, I think has just created a really fun energy that suits her well. And I'm excited for more projects like this down the road too. We're going to give this thing an 8.3 out of 10 and a big time vinyl, please. Cannot wait to throw it in the record shelf. And I hope you guys enjoy this record. Hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2025, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. And tune into the live show, Classic Wax, on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.